the Democratic Republic of Sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into another Sportsocracy at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Be sure to like it, share it, and follow it. Thanks for following along this morning, and we are ready and raring to get going here. We've got the NBA playoffs. We've got some college football to talk about as the new AP poll has come out, and for some damn reason they decided to include teams that aren't even going to be playing this fall.
Because college football.
Brett Brown has been fired in the NBA. The Philadelphia 76ers, the mastermind of the process, is now vamoose. He's gone. So who should replace him? We'll get into that in the program today, as well as some other college football news, as Nick Saban says it's not about the money. Anyway, at the Sportsocracy on all the social medias, be sure to like it, share it, and follow it. Jeremy Greene, it is another fantabulous morning, and the LA Lakers have proven you correct. I am ready to say that Jeremy was right. The first game of the series that went to the Portland Trail Blazers was an aberration, and the Lakers have finally shown up. After the second and third games of the series, I was feeling, okay, all right, we're getting there. And then, Anthony Davis plays 18 minutes in a game that the Lakers just blew out the Portland Trail Blazers. And rightfully so on Kobe Bryant Day.
It's a funny thing, when I picked it yesterday, I didn't even think about it being Kobe Day.
Yep.
I didn't think about him wearing the Black Mamba jerseys. I didn't think about any of that.
Yep.
I just knew undeniably they are going to beat the hell out of Portland. And they did. They beat them like a kettle drum.
And they did, yeah. They were up by 38 at one point in the ball game. Like I said, Anthony Davis only had to play 18 minutes to make it happen. His plus-minus in the game was twice of the minutes he played.
He was plus 37 in 18 minutes, which means they beat them by 2 every minute he was on the floor.
A little more than 2. Just a little more than 2.
Yeah, the Lakers were real good,
yep.
And the Blazers were real overrated.
Yeah, Damian Lillard goes down with a, a knee injury this time? Ankle injury, something.
By the time that happened, I didn't even care
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It did not have an effect on the outcome of the game. It's just another... Man, it's just another lump that they've taken. He had the dislocated finger the game before, and now he's got the knee injury. And do you even play in Game 5?
Oh, he's going to play.
Does Dame Lillard even show up?
He's going to play, but here's the thing. This is what I have said time and time again about guys like Damian Lillard and James Harden. You keep telling me how good they are offensively, and then shit like this happens, and when I go, no response.
Right.
Just crickets. This is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you have a three-point reliant igniter to your offense. He has an off night and you get demolished.
Yep.
You know what doesn't happen with guys like LeBron or guys like Kawhi or guys like Luka? They don't get destroyed because they can't hit from the outside.
Right.
Which is the reason that Dame Lillard has never belonged in this discussion,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to officially bury that discussion forever.
You put him in the top 10?
I don't, but
Damian Lillard's not even in your top 10 of NBA
James Harden's
players.
not either. Russell Westbrook's not either.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me all the Luka, LeBron, Giannis,
Anthony Davis.
yep, that one.
Yeah. That dude.
Yeah, that dude.
That dude's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty damn okay. To me, I said going in, the first round of these playoffs is exponentially easier to pinpoint than any first round I've ever seen.
Yep.
And in 7 of the 8 series, I've been right.
Yep.
I got Denver wrong. Damn it, Denver. I KO'd Denver.
Well, you got a chance. You still have a chance.
I'm not allowed to pull for a team that's good. So as soon as I switch my allegiances, they went into the toilet.
You're only down 3-1, so you're still a chance. It's been done before. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers did it against the Golden State Warriors, so there's still a chance you can come back from 3-1 and win this series.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not, probably not going to happen, but yes, it is. It's still a possibility. Meanwhile, you got your wish. Oklahoma City has evened up the series 2-2 with the Houston Rockets. With
James Harden, I'm telling you he's going down.
With a 117-114 win last night, Oklahoma City showing their grit down the stretch, being able to come back from a sizable deficit in the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and here you go.
3-game series.
You're in
I
trouble.
get Chris Paul, you get James Harden. I like where I'm sitting.
Yes, I would agree with that. Oklahoma City is a team that I have downplayed. I'd said coming into the playoffs that I didn't see them as a threat for anything, and I really still don't. I mean, to beat Houston, sure, to get into the next round.
Well, I mean, whoever wins this is just going to be,
right.
It's just going to be fodder for the Lakers
Right.
in one series.
I guess I feel like I have to do this. I'm sorry, LeBron. My apologies. I doubted you, and I never should have doubted you. I try to find the storylines. I try to find some kind of drama wherever there is no drama sometimes, and we all fall on that sword sometimes.
Here's the net. Cometh the king, you best not miss. And Dame missed a lot.
Yeah,
and C.J. McCollum has missed even more than that.
Right.
And Carmelo couldn't hit water off a bridge.
Do you think they break that up? The Portland Trailblazers need.
Well, they only signed Melo for a year, so.
Right, but I mean, with C.J. McCollum and
I don't know how you get out of it
Lillard.
because I don't know who would take C.J. McCollum off of you, because
What
you
if they
paid
did-
him a shitload.
Would to tease something that we're going to talk about in a minute? Would there be a switch there to be had for, say, Ben Simmons and C.J. McCollum?
I'm glad you said that, and we'll discuss this when we talk about Brett Brown. No.
Okay.
No, there's not.
You don't think that could work?
No.
All right, we'll get into it in a little bit. But, the Lakers up 3-1. There's a 2-2 series in the bracket below them, Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Again, Oklahoma City, sure, get you past Houston, but once you go up against the Lakers, especially now that apparently the switch has been flipped, and I had almost forgotten. It's been such a long time, and it really hasn't. It's only been, what did we say, 200 days or something since the tragedy of Kobe Bryant and Gianna's death, and I had almost forgotten that was a motivating factor for this team. And I wonder if they had kind of forgotten as well. I think yesterday might have served as more of a reminder. Not that it ever leaves their mind, because when you put on the Lakers purple and gold, you know the history.
Oh, this
every
is
time
this
you put
is
it
the
on.
Kobe season. I mean, and we've known that from the jump. I feel like that's been underplayed in this playoffs. This is the Kobe year.
Yep.
And I got news for you. You better come with something otherworldly to beat them this year.
Yep.
And they showed it last night. It's the Colin Cowherd methodology of picking games. How good you're good. The Lakers' good's better than anybody's got. Period. They're going to have to beat themselves every bit as much as you beat them. And they showed that last night. And for the love of God, can we stop talking about how Portland's better than the average 8? Okay. They're the 8 for a reason.
They looked that way for one game.
Yeah, they came in the bubble, played a bunch of teams that didn't give a shit, and then all of a sudden everybody thought they were the mid-'70s Celtics.
Right.
Oh, okay. No, they're not.
Right.
They're still not good. They still can't defend anybody. And that's been on display every other night for the last half a week?
Right.
It is what it is.
121-106. The Milwaukee Bucks go 3-1 up on the Orlando Magic. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, here's the analysis of that. That series is over. Next.
Next.
It's not even worth talking about.
Next.
Milwaukee's real good. Orlando's real not. There you go.
Another one not really worth spending a whole lot of time on is the Miami Heat swept through the Indiana Pacers as we knew they would. The only thing
Indiana.
Yeah, the only thing to come out of that game, though, is this soft tissue shoulder injury that they're talking about with Jimmy Butler.
He'll be fine. Jimmy Butler will be just fine. He's one of the toughest guys in the NBA. He'll be just fine.
We're one game away from settling the conference semifinals in the East because we already had the sweeps with the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors, so they are matched up in the next round. And it looks like the only series that's not going to be a sweep is the Milwaukee-Orlando series. How weird
You
does that
remember
feel?
when I said before this started that the East playoffs, there is not a snowball's chance in hell that it's not these 4 teams? Do you remember what 4 teams I said? The 4 teams that are going to be in the second round.
Exactly.
It was insanely predictable.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I said throughout the whole the seeding games or whatever they call those stupid, worthless bubble games.
Yeah, seeding games. You got it.
People overreacted. Oh, look how good T.J. Warren is, and look how good Damian Lillard's playing, and look at Devin Booker. If the Suns get in, they would be really threatening to. No, they wouldn't.
No, they
Stop it. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. No, they would not. And now, what are you gonna have? Complete chalk.
Yep.
You're gonna have complete chalk in the second round, except the 6th seed beat the 3 in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! That's it. Because basketball.
And lending more credence to the argument that we had when the idea first came up for including 22 teams in a bubble, you only have really 8 teams that can vie for a title. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing
I said this from
full-on
the jump.
playoffs? Yes.
And now we're already look. I said this on our ESPN show throughout the whole break. The whole sniffle tower, Rudy Gobert shut the season down. I said, you're doing all of this for no good damn reason.
Mm-hmm.
You lost Zion. He didn't get into it in the first place. And the ratings have suffered. Why have the ratings suffered? Because you got a bunch of teams that nobody gives a rat's ass about. Nobody cares. That Nets team, for the love of God, I was having to basketball reference the guys on the floor.
Right.
Like, who the hell is that guy?
Right.
I mean, they could have pulled somebody out of the crowd, and I don't think I would have known.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have just put a dude like, hey, a random guy just walked in from Disney World. He's wearing a Nets jersey, and now he's playing the 3. And I would have gone, never seen that guy before. Where'd he go to school? Oh, he's a plumber. He fits. It makes sense.
Yeah. He was real good in high school.
I do want to talk about one thing with the Nets, though.
Okay.
Because there was a rumor that was circulating around yesterday that may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
Apparently, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are big game hunting for the new coach of the Nets, and their top of the wish list is Greg Popovich. Okay, then.
Why? Why would he do
Well, I
that?
mean, here's the thing. I understand how the two ends are meeting because the Spurs are screwed. That team is terrible, and I won't be shocked if he retires. I mean, Pop's 71 years old, so I mean, I think you've done enough to, you'll be giving a speech in Springfield soon enough. But he's not going to. Why in the world would a coach like Greg Popovich agree to coach 2 head cases like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving? It said it in the AP story. These two have a history of not necessarily getting along with coaches. Okay, and Greg Popovich is going to sign up for that.
Right.
I'll tell you who I think gets that job. Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue's going to have his choice of jobs, apparently. Because the Pelicans want him, the Nets want him, and apparently the 76ers want him too. Did I miss something with him? Well, he wasn't a good coach. We understand that, right?
No, and see, that's the thing that people keep. I get that he's won a title, but he won.
LeBron won a title.
Right, he won a title with LeBron. Was it anything that Tyronn Lue did as a coach?
Most of it was in spite of Tyronn Lue.
Right, that helped the Cleveland Cavaliers win that title. Absolutely not. It was LeBron's team. Tyronn Lue was just the figurehead. You had to have somebody in the head coaching position.
Robbie Wright said Jason Kidd. That's another one that I don't understand. What is the allure of Jason Kidd?
It's because he's a name.
It's because they're former players, and they get the respect of players. None of that shit matters. They have the respect of players. So would a lot of guys. Mike Budenholzer never played a minute in the league. Guess what? He got the respect of the Milwaukee Bucks. Jason Kidd couldn't do it. I don't understand the love affair with these former point guards. I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't understand it. I don't know what people see in Tyronn Lue. I realize that he has a relationship with Kyrie Irving because, of course, he was the coach there in Cleveland when Kyrie was with LeBron James. And, had it not been for Kyrie Irving, they wouldn't have won that title.
No. I mean, and that's they won in spite of Tyronn Lue. And now all of a sudden he's this championship pedigree coach that they're putting in a story with Greg Popovich.
Right.
Stop that.
He's like the superstar whisperer. That's how they're trying to make him appear. And to me, no. I mean, he's a coach that can benefit from having superstars on the team that can ball. I mean, you already imagine that with KD and Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets are already going to be in the discussion as a threat in the East.
Yes.
Without Tyronn Lue. I don't care who their coach is. But Tyronn Lue's not a guy that I look at and go, yeah, he's going to push them over the top. His leadership is going to turn them into actual title contenders. No, I don't see that. But here's the other thing. I don't know who's better. Who can you get that's better?
Philadelphia's chasing one that I think's better.
I would agree with that. I think I think you and I are right here on that. You're talking about calling up somebody who already lives in the city?
Yep.
The discussions about replacing Brett Brown. So Brett Brown gets the job, and leads the process, brings Philadelphia up to a point. But I've been saying for a couple of years now, it feels like, that the Brett Brown experiment needs to be over. Like, we can chalk this up as a success. He carried them only so far, which we all knew he was going to do, and now they need something else, some kind of a culture change, some other schematic change to push them over the top to actually make them contenders. And a way to do that would maybe be bringing in Jay Wright from Villanova.
I think that's who takes that job. Just let that be known. I think you're going to see, and here's why. This is it's a bigger deal. And there are a couple other guys in college basketball that I could see taking NBA jobs because I think the NCAA model is in trouble. And I think a lot of people know it. I think the higher-ups, the Jay Wrights, the Anthony Grants at Dayton, I think these guys know we're in trouble. And the money's never going to be the same. We've already lost 1 year, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, all of these ideas that I've heard from Calipari and Mike Krzyzewski, it would be great if you were the ones running it. Unfortunately, I have no faith in the people that are actually implementing this.
Right.
And so could I see a guy like Jay Wright, who has done everything in college basketball you could want to do? Could I see him, the job in his city is open. He is very identifiable with Philadelphia. You've got two ready-made stars that you just have to somebody that can make them coexist. Could I see Jay Wright going, yep, that's the job I'll leave for? Absolutely. Yep. Especially right now. And the NBA is doing you no favors. They've already done the G League Select and pulling these guys up. If I'm Jay Wright, I would be looking at this going, is there ever going to be a better opportunity than I have right now?
No.
And the answer is no.
Right.
This is the NCAA is on fire, and I could have a team with two ready-made all-stars. In my city, I don't even have to move. Yeah. I don't know how he's going to say no to that. I really don't.
I don't either. And I don't know why more people aren't talking about Jay Wright.
Well, because the reason more people aren't talking about Jay Wright is because he's been approached by the NBA. Him and Krzyzewski have been approached about as many times. And Jay Wright just swats them off like a horse swatting mosquitoes. He's just not interested. He never has been. I think this is the one job that could have interested him. And now with Brett Brown gone, here's the other thing. They did Greene did a poll yesterday of who should Philadelphia move on from, Simmons, Embiid, neither, or both. The answer is neither, because you're not going to get fair value for either one of them. They're both damaged goods. So you have to find a coach that can come in and make the two of them work together. How you're going to do that, I have no idea. That's above my pay scale. How you make a traditional big and a point guard that can't shoot work together, I don't know. Especially when you've got Tobias Harris, who you couldn't get out of that deal short of him deciding he wants to whack surfboards in Hawaii and just retire, I don't see how you're going to get out of that deal. And you got Horford for God knows how long. He's 34 years old. If there was a guy that could do it, it's Jay Wright. And Robbie, I agree with you. I don't think he's ever been interested in the NBA before. I think this is if he doesn't do it now, he's never going to do it. He'll retire at Villanova. And I firmly believe that. But I think Elton Brand's going to stay in place. They're going to retool that front office. And I think they're looking for a coach that they can give a ton of say to. And Jay Wright's the only one that's out there for them.
I would tend to agree with that. Jay Wright, to me, feels like he feels like a perfect fit. But the fact that he has not shown any interest in the NBA, I don't know. I tend to agree with you, though. If there ever was a job, this one is it.
And Patrick Holt, I agree with you. He said Coach K and Boeheim had their opportunity in the Olympics and got their taste of it. I don't disagree with you with those two guys. Jay Wright looks like he's 35 years old. He's not. He's in his 50s. And he's been the coach at Villanova forever. And the only reason that I'm saying I think he could do this, Jay Wright reminds me a ton of Billy Donovan.
Okay.
Like they look alike, they talk alike. And I could see a path where, Billy Donovan got an offer he couldn't turn down. Mm-hmm. He could not turn down coaching the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I think that Jay Wright could look at Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and go, that's job security. They stuck with Brett Brown for 7 freaking years. Mm-hmm. They won 49 games in 3 years. And they just said, Brett Brown, you're good. And Robbie, I agree. He does have a ton of job security at Villanova. There's only one problem. I'm afraid the money is coming out of that. And if they have another season, and this is just hypothetical. And if I'm Jay Wright, and it's getting real hard for me to say Jay Wright and Robbie Wright at the same time. Just so if I call one the other, I'm sorry. If I'm Jay Wright, I have to be looking at this going, if this G League thing does become a thing and it takes off, and you're taking 5 to 10 elite prospects a year, that's going to hurt me at some point. And it might take 2 or 3 years, but that's going to hurt me. And you got to be looking at the NCAA leadership here going, do I feel good about this? Mm-hmm. And I'm in a conference that doesn't have football largely. Villanova's an FCS school, in football. So the money that could salvage us, I could see a path where he just goes, you know what? It's better for me to just take this opportunity while I got it. Mm-hmm. And the loyalty, and I'm telling you, this is the reason that you're loyal to coaches. Let me ask you this. What's the most attractive open NBA job?
The most attractive open NBA job right now, I would probably say it's Brooklyn.
It's Philadelphia. It's not close.
Really?
All right, think about this. You just had Brett Brown that they were trusting the process. And I'm not sitting here telling you that they're going to hire a coach and they're going to be that patient with another coach, because I don't believe that. But if you're somebody like Jay Wright, who the biggest thing that has kept him at Villanova is I'm secure here. They love me here. Mm-hmm. I can have a bad year and I don't have to worry. Mm-hmm. You look at Philadelphia now and go, you just survived 3 of the worst years in NBA history with a coach, and you let him come through with the process. And now, would I rather have that or deal with head case Kyrie Irving and head case Kevin Durant with this weird blend with Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie? I've heard they're going to make a run at Bradley Beal. I understand the allure of coaching that team. Mm-hmm. I don't like the front office. I like Sean Marks. Their GM's great. I just don't like the whole operation. I don't know who the owner is. They've sold off pieces, and there's just elements of things that I don't like. And you're in New York. You're the second biggest story in New York at all times. Mm-hmm. The Knicks can be 10-70, and they're still a bigger story than the Nets are. And you're never going to beat that.
You still believe that?
It's the way it is.
Well, I understand.
Trust me, I'm better equipped to say. I've been a New York sports fan my whole life.
Oh, I get it.
The Jets could win 5 Super Bowls in a row. The Giants replace a coach, it still gets the back page. The Knicks are the same way with the Nets. The Yankees are the same way with the Mets. Mm-hmm. Rangers are the same way with the Islanders. Mm-hmm. You do it in every sport. They have 2 teams. One team gets the back page. One team has to fight for headlines. And unfortunately, I pulled for most of the teams that have to fight for freaking headlines.
I don't know. I feel like with Kyrie and KD, that's going to change.
I don't.
They're still the focus will still be on the Knicks and how bad they are.
Who's been to an NBA Finals more recently, the Nets or the Knicks?
No, the Knicks.
No,
I mean the Nets. Sorry.
Yeah. The Nets have. And you know how many headlines that stole? None. Absolutely none. Mm-hmm. It's the way New York works. Okay. And I got news for you. I have always said it takes a very special breed of coach to coach those lesser teams in New York. Rex Ryan is, in the last 20 years, the only coach any of those teams have had that I think really fit that. Bobby Valentine did for a little period with the Mets, and then he got so kooky that it became a comedy, showing up with mustaches in the dugout. It takes a special kind of coach. That's why the Greg Popovich thing is comical to me. There's no way he would take that job.
I don't think
he
so.
would tell them to he would tell them to pound sand before he would see the number pop up, and it would be like me getting car warranty calls.
Right.
Go get fucked.
Why?
Click.
Yeah. Why would you do that? Why would you put your legacy on the line to go to a place where you're just going to have pushback at every?
Well,
angle?
there's no risk. There's no
understood.
risk to his legacy. Popovich is, no matter who you are or how you feel about San Antonio, and I hate them personally, and always have. He's a top 3 coach in NBA history. No matter, but there's no arguing that. It's Red Auerbach, Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich. There's not another one that could even be interjected into that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But why? Why would you do it? Why would you not just retire?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to leave San Antonio, cool. Retire, hand the reins to Becky Hammond or Tim Duncan, roll on.
Mm-hmm. Before the show, Rudy Tomjanovich's name came up in conversation.
Which immediately made me go, he's still alive. I did not know that.
He's the same age as Greg Popovich.
He doesn't look it.
He does not look it.
Yeah.
But that's my point is, why would you at 71 years old take a job somewhere else and you're leaving the dynasty that you set up? Granted, it's not in the same shape that it was. Why would you leave that, go somewhere else just to try to – you have nothing to win. And you have everything to lose, because I feel like it's going to be a storyline that if Greg Popovich comes in and goes with Kyrie and KD and it blows up into this, personality battle between the two superstars, and it doesn't work, and you get, you make the playoffs, obviously, because everybody makes the playoffs if you're any kind of decent in the Eastern Conference anyway. So you're going to make the playoffs, but let's say you don't have that great of a season, you end up as a 4 seed or a 5 seed. And you get knocked out in the first round, or you get demolished in the next round by the Milwaukee Bucks if they're able to keep everything together and still be at the top of the game in the Eastern Conference next year, which more than likely they will be.
Well, the first thing I want to say to that is, you saying Rudy Tomjanovich and Greg Popovich are the same age? That's like when people find out you're 5 years older than I am. Highway miles, city miles. I've been rode a little harder and a little longer than he has, which is why I look like this.
Very true.
And he's got that nice a nice plush skin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
The baby face.
Yeah, I look like I've been chiefing down cigars since about 1997. Which I
and with the beard, you look like you've been living under a bridge for 2 months.
Oh, come on now. I had such a good point. You just threw me off. So there was a lot of Pat Riley in the comments. Pat Riley would be my 4. I have him behind those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Popovich worked in a very small city. You got to understand how hard it is to get talent in San Antonio.
Oh,
I don't give a damn how good you are. He had to draft all of it because nobody is coming there.
And you think about how they built that winner through the draft, through international players. It was just something that had never been done in the NBA before.
Patrick Holt, the guy that Latrell Sprewell choked, is PJ Carlesimo, which is my favorite name to say in all of sports.
Right. PJ Carlesimo?
I love him. Excuse me.
Woo!
I choked on air.
Nice.
2 other people said Mark Jackson. And I do want to cover this with Mark Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a GM in the NBA, there is no doubt I would bring in Mark Jackson. But they're not going to. I don't know what it is that he's done. He's been blackballed in NBA circles for some reason. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he did. I don't know if they hold the Warriors thing against him, that he had all that talent and he could never get. I don't know. I think it's that he's so outspoken. He is very outspoken and he is very political. And it's not necessarily the political that is PC.
It's not the kind of political that would be embraced in this hyper-political sphere that we find ourselves in 2020.
I'll put it this way. Mark Jackson and I would get along just fine. That's how I put it.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. He goes against the grain.
He does. He goes against the grain politically. He rubbed some people the wrong way in Oakland, and I don't know that he ever gets another job. Mm-hmm. He should, and frankly, selfishly, I hope he never does, because I love him as a commentator. You don't, do you?
As a commentator?
Yeah.
He's fine. He's great as a commentator.
No, I thought you were one of those that hated him.
No.
And that was just going to make me go, hand down, man down. Mama, there go that man.
No. I like Mark Jackson.
Stop on a dime, give him 5 cents change. Mama, there go that man.
I do believe that the Golden State thing is held over his head, though. I mean,
it 100%
because
is.
Steve Kerr comes in, and the first season he's there, he turns them into world beaters.
The thing that bothers me about the Golden State thing being hung over Mark Jackson's head, the players loved him. Mm-hmm. This was not from the players. I've always thought that something happened with ownership. With Joe Lacob, is that how he says his last name?
Sure.
I've always thought there was something that went on there because he's barely gotten interviews. I thought he was a shoo-in for the Knicks job. And I would have liked him better than Tom Thibodeau. Mm-hmm. Thibodeau with the Knicks. God, I'm so looking forward to sitting back and watching that tire fire and not having to wear their shit. Oh, God, I'm just, because it's going to be a grease fire.
As you are just rocking your Denver Nuggets gear.
Damn right I am.
Hoping for a better showing in the playoffs in the next season.
Hey, the future of the Nuggets is strong.
It is.
I still have Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Nikola Jokic. I'm fine.
There is no doubt about that. If you had to pinpoint it right now, would you like to wager a guess on who can you put the coaches with the jobs that are open? So New Orleans, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia.
I see no way New Orleans is not Kenny Atkinson.
Okay.
If it's not Kenny Atkinson, they did it wrong.
I agree.
Brooklyn's gonna go big game hunting.
Got to.
And I really struggle to believe it's not gonna be Tyronn Lue. I don't, and I know Philadelphia's gonna make a run, but the existing relationship with Kyrie and the fact that it is such a loyal fan base, and it is such a big money job because the reason he's not the Lakers coach right now is because they wouldn't pay him. Mm-hmm. That's who they wanted. That's who LeBron wanted, and they wouldn't pay him. So they went and got Frank Vogel, who was way cheaper and required way less input. I don't think he had a problem with the Nets. So I'd say Tyronn Lue with the Nets, Kenny Atkinson in New Orleans. Chicago, I can't get away from Adrian Griffin. I don't see how it's not him, and no one's going to care.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is the interesting one. I'm going to go with Jay Wright. I think they're going to throw money and power at Jay Wright that he can't say no to. Looking at the sinking ship that is the NCAA.
I think they should go all in for Jay Wright.
They're going to. That's the first call. I know it.
The one thing that I can't get my head around, though, is David Fizdale. Why can't this guy get a break? I feel like he's a really good NBA coach.
He is, but this is why you don't take the Knicks job.
Yeah.
The stink of the Knicks job will stay on him for a long time, just like it did with Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson was a fantastic coach that was drawn a shit hand 2 times in New York, and it has stuck with him and stuck with him and stuck with him. And I think Fizdale's going to be in the same place. Fizdale needs a job like, God, I never thought I'd say that, Sacramento. That's the kind of job he needs.
Somewhere
Dave
he can
Yeager.
disappear.
Dave Yeager's in the same position.
Yeah.
He's another great coach that's been drawn shit hands. But this is so people will ask, why do I think Jay Wright would take this job now? Because of what I just said about Dave Yeager and David Fizdale. Is because if you take the wrong job, it can screw you over forever. Billy Donovan almost took the Magic job. Did take the Magic job and then went, JK.
Sorry.
Messing with you. That would have been a train wreck.
Right.
Billy Donovan will be in Oklahoma City for a long, long time because he finds a way to get the most out of players. And they will always give him just enough to be competitive. I don't think he's ever going to win a title, but he'll have just enough in Oklahoma City to be competitive. With Jay Wright, I think he could see a path where I have young Ben Simmons, I have young Joel Embiid, and then they've still got other young assets. Josh Richardson's not an old guy. I think he looks at that job and goes, if I'm ever going to take an NBA job, this one is perfect.
It's funny you mentioned Orlando because as soon as you said that, I thought, that might be a perfect place for David Fizdale to end up.
Yeah,
I don't know if Steve Clifford's going to last.
They've got Steve Clifford, who, according to Dan Lebitard, looks like a high school principal that's really angry at what the students are doing, but doesn't want to say it out loud. Of all the things in sports radio, that's the best segment.
Oh, the looks like scenario? Yeah.
Sam Darnold looks like a Lego fireman.
Yeah. My favorite.
You'll never unsee it.
Yeah. My favorite one was Andy Reid as the guy who goes into a public toilet and saddles up next to you and sighs right before he starts at the urinal.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, that's him.
Yep.
That is Andy Reid.
Those are Fantastic.
I do love those. But no, I mean, maybe that is something that will come up in the future. I just feel like David Fizdale is such a good coach. He's got to get his opportunity somewhere else, and
he likely will. It's just it's not going to be any of the jobs we just talked about.
No. But I feel like he got screwed in Memphis. He got screwed in New York, and I just feel like he's been dealt such a shitty hand.
He has, but here's the thing. You only get so many shots of saying it's a shitty hand.
Right.
Phil Jackson got a shitty hand too, and guess what? Worked out just fine. And I say shitty hand. He had young Michael and young Scotty, but they hadn't won anything at that time, and he found a way. Good coaches find a way to win.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Be sure to follow the Sportsocracy on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. Like, share, and follow it. Don't forget to check out the merch store. We got the campaign T-shirt up there, Spencer Greene 2020. Get your Because Baseball T-shirts, mugs, masks, all that kind of stuff. The link to the merch store is in the description of this video, and all of our videos that we do. Be sure to hit that notifications button as well, so you know every time that we go live right here on the program. Now, let's get into some college football, Jeremy, because it is coming up fast and furious. And I hate preseason polls. It gives us something to talk about. It's the run-up to the season, the anticipation of what we're going to see. It gives everybody a good look at who the top teams are and where they're expected to finish the season. Clemson, the AP poll came out yesterday. Clemson is at the top, as everybody would know. But the AP did something that just proves to me why preseason polls are so ridiculous. The AP went through and ranked all of the conference teams that are not going to be playing this fall. If you wanted to ever prove to people why your preseason poll is absolutely needless, this is a great way. Marcus Spears put it perfectly yesterday on ESPN, because he said the exact same thing. This is dumb. Why would you even rank teams that are not going to play? I have no clue, because Ohio State ended up being number 2. They won't play. There were 4 teams from the Big Ten in the top 25. There were 3 teams from the Pac-12 in the top 25. It just seems ridiculous to me. And this shows your service is no longer needed.
I've said that there shouldn't be a poll that comes out until the first month of the season's over.
Yes.
Because how many times at Notre Dame, to me it's the Notre Dame rule. Mm-hmm. How many times have we seen Notre Dame come in right about where they are in this poll at 10? Mm-hmm. They never beat anybody of any substance. They sit up there forever, and if they find a way to sneak through with a soft schedule when USC's not good and the different Stanford's not good, they slide through and they wind up in a national title game against Alabama that they didn't belong in, and they got run off the field.
Yep.
It's dumb. It's dumb that we've done it for this long. But do you honestly think the NCAA can find a way to stop doing it? I couldn't trust the NCAA at this point to tell me what day it is. That's how clueless they have shown to be during this whole process.
Mm-hmm. This isn't an NCAA thing, though. This is an Associated Press thing.
No, and I understand
this is
that.
A media
but
thing.
if the NCAA said, we don't want you to put out this poll for a month, they could find a way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the AP makes nothing off this poll. So they could, and you know what? Just don't put it out there. I mean, I understand the Associated Press is going to do what they do. The NCAA could pressure them to not do this.
Yes.
And the coaches, they could 100% tell them, we're not doing this. But they won't. Because for them, it's not prudent. Because they have way too many Kevin Warrens and not nearly enough Nick Sabans.
But the funny thing about it is that they know this is a useless poll. Mm-hmm. Because when they put this poll out, they included in the story that once the season starts,
then you have to vote for teams that are actually playing.
Right. They won't be included in any poll from this point forward.
There's another thing about this that I think you really need to give some credence to.
Okay.
I'm not as convinced that they're not playing. The more time goes on, the more I'm not convinced.
I am.
I'm not.
I don't think there's a way they go back. I really don't. I don't see a path for it.
There's a lot of people that don't. I'm not one of them.
Because
it's been too brutal. The press on this has been too bad for the Big Ten.
I agree.
Did you see the story from Mark Feldman yesterday that everybody associated with Big Ten's pissed?
No.
It was the cover story on ESPN.
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
half the day.
I did see that.
The dissension and the anger, that makes you look bad. And I got news for you. I've said this the whole time. If I was an 18-year-old kid right now that was going into my senior year and I'm a top-level recruit, I'm not even taking phone calls from the Big Ten and Pac-12. There's nothing you can say to me. You can't even get your own house in order. How the hell do I think you have my best interest at heart? You've got ADs and presidents and the commissioner of the conference that are all just bitching at each other in the media, and you can't figure it out. You've had damn near a month to have anybody come out and say, this is what we're going to do and this is why we're going to do it, and nobody's done it. Why the hell would I tie myself to that? And if I was a high-level coach of Ryan Day or a Jim Harbaugh, James Franklin, you bet your ass I would be listening. Oh, you got a job that comes open this offseason?
I'm getting out.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Because your commissioner found a way to do it. And what's going to make them look so bad is when the AAC finds a way to do it. This little low-revenue conference or the Sun Belt finds a way to do this. It's going to make them look atrocious. It's going to make them look worse than they already have.
I think the only play right here that the Big Ten has is that they are waiting to see how it pans out. They are waiting to see if the shit hits the fan in all of these other conferences. And if the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 get 3 weeks into the season and have to shut it down because they have so many infections and, I don't know.
And you know what tells you that's not going to happen? Look what just happened to the NFL.
Agreed. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying I believe it's going to happen. I'm saying this is what the Big Ten is rooting for.
Well, I mean,
the Big Ten
you're 100% right.
Right.
But at some point, you have to look at the science and you have to look at the facts of everybody else can do this. And all right, so just in theory, we talk about these community spreads. And speaking of the dumb words that you hear through the coronavirus, dark thoughts from my safe space right here on this stage, 9 o'clock Friday. This guy.
Yeah.
That will be included. Just a little transition.
Nice job.
Yep. At some point, you have to go, what would actually stop the season now? I mean, let's be really honest.
I know it's not a popular thought, but I still believe it's a death. That's the only thing that will stop it.
Yep. And I don't disagree with that. And it's not going to happen.
No. I mean,
all of the science says it's not going to happen.
Right. The science says it's highly unlikely that happens. The science says that for the most part, these guys are going to be fine. We might have some heart issues that crop up in guys, but they're going to be
myocarditis that you wind up having to take a regimen of drugs for a month, and then you're over it.
Yeah, but they're going to be doing so much testing that they're going to be able to find the myocarditis. I feel safe in saying that there's going to be such a critical eye on all of this that they are going to mitigate most of the risk that they would run from these guys playing and being exposed to the coronavirus and all of that stuff.
Here's the thing. The risk has already been mitigated because you've got these guys screaming from the rooftops that they want to play. There's not one of these guys that could sue and say that it's the same argument I had with George Hill. George Hill comes out and says, we shouldn't even be here.
Yes.
You didn't have to be here.
Right.
Nobody forced you to be here. You chose to come here. And there's not a judge in the world that would prosecute one of these schools. When you've got players showing up at Big Ten headquarters and parents showing up and letters being written and guys coming out on Twitter and all of these things, there's not a judge in the world that prosecute that.
I don't disagree.
The Big Ten has a very easy out here. Kevin Warren has a very easy out. He comes together, they have a meeting, and I'm telling you this is coming. I'm not going to tell you definitively they're going to play. I'm going to tell you that there's a meeting coming because there's too much anger. There's too many people that are too willing to talk to the media. Mark Feldman's piece on ESPN had way too many unnamed sources and quotes that were deep in the process. And Kevin Warren sees that. He's like, well, there's more that you don't know yet, and I'd really like to keep that from happening. So I think something happens.
I think the only way the Big Ten can make this happen is that they are going to, as a unit, as an entity, they are going to have to throw Kevin Warren under the bus completely. They are going to have to fire him and say that this was a unilateral move. Or that he read the room wrong or whatever.
And to me, that's the solution after you have the meeting. And if you're the ADs and the schools and the Ryan Days and the Jim Harbaughs, you look at Kevin Warren and go, who do you think has more power, me or you? You're going to come with us or you're going to be left behind.
See, I've been wrestling with this since since this whole thing began, and all of the news started to come out about whether there was a vote, whether it was not a vote, whatever. I have still yet to see presidents speak on this.
It's happened. Just because you ain't seen it doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Okay, so
the president of Minnesota already came out and said we didn't have a vote.
Okay,
that's kind of damning.
Okay, and did he say?
And he put his name to that.
I get that. I saw that report, but I haven't seen anyone come out on the side of Kevin Warren.
Oh, I misunderstood what you're saying there.
Right.
You're not going to, because right now he's the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that they can point at and go, he did it.
Yep.
Don't blame us. We didn't do this.
Right.
Not us.
And see, that's the problem that I have. If it was such an overwhelming mood in the group of the 14 commissioners or the 14 presidents of the schools of the Big Ten, why have none of the ones that were for not playing a season at all? Like I've seen Michigan's president has said a couple of things, but it's not been a full-throated, we stand behind Kevin Warren, this is the idea.
So think about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
The one president that's come out and said anything, who was it?
Michigan.
The governor of Michigan won't let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
He has the scapegoat. He can say whatever he wants to.
Gotcha.
He doesn't have that. There's no way that this stink's going to hit him, because he's got the commissioner of the Big Ten and he's got the governor of his own state saying, I will not let this happen. Okay, that takes all of it off me. I can say whatever I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with you. I can tell you to pound sand. Doesn't matter. None of this will hit me.
I want to steal a phrase from Jeremy and say I believe that what the Big Ten presidents are doing right now is kicking the can down the road. They are kicking.
I love hearing my phrases come from other people.
They are kicking the can down the road right now, and I don't think they're going to reverse course. I don't think that they have the backbone or the spine or the testicular fortitude to come out and say, Kevin Warren did this without our approval. We have to fire him now. We are going to have a season. This is your new interim Big Ten commissioner. And announce somebody, whoever it's going to be, and say we are rolling forward. I don't think that they want to do that. I think what they're doing is just playing it, seeing how it plays out, because there's still a chance that Kevin Warren could be right. And we could save face in all of this. We're going to take the anger for now, but once this falls apart for the other conferences that are playing, then we'll be right.
There's no shot of Kevin Warren being right.
Okay.
Even if the infections go through the roof and all that, you still didn't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a path here where you walk away from this and go, Kevin Warren had this right. Might do it with Larry Scott, because Larry Scott just rode shoddy. Kevin Warren started the car. Larry Scott just said, I'm in.
Right.
So, I mean, if it's that's the guy that could have no stink on him.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Warren's not getting out of this unscathed. The backlash of this has been too hard, and I'm telling you right now, if you really want the athletic directors to get a voice in the room, sit them all down and say, this is what's going to happen to our athletic department if you don't let us play.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a thing in the comments earlier about ACC schools saying, oh, it's only 25% ticket holders. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't matter if there's a person in the room. The TV deals, the marketing deals are going to be astronomical.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we still have X number of sports fans. They haven't been consuming the NBA at the rate we thought they would. They haven't consumed. I mean, baseball's about where I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
The NASCAR was through the roof at one point, and the golf's been higher than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me that the two most popular sports in this society are college football and pro football, and you don't think that they're going to throw numbers like you've never seen before? Okay, then.
The college football playoff is going to happen, as we've been saying.
Has to happen.
Yes, there is a way that it can be done. Nobody gives a shit about the Big Ten and the Pac-12. If they want to go do their own thing, fine. There's still going to be a champion in college football. As the college football playoff executive director Bill Hancock confirmed yesterday that the college football playoff is going to carry on with just the three Power 5 conferences. With the Big 12, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. They included the smaller conferences, but we know nobody in those smaller conferences has a snowball's chance in hell at making the college football playoff.
I don't agree with you.
Really? You think somebody from the American or Conference USA or the Sun Belt
ranked.
is going to get in?
Look where they're ranked. In a poll with teams that don't play, If you take out the teams that aren't playing, you've got 3 from the AAC in the teens. Mm-hmm. One of those teams goes undefeated, they're very likely in it. Tell me I'm crazy. I'll listen.
Crazy.
Okay.
You're crazy.
All right, tell me there's no path that Carolina loses 2 games. There's not one team in the ACC other than Clemson who's undefeated that has less than 2 losses. An undefeated AAC team makes it over them, period. SEC, 2-loss SEC team, undefeated AAC team. Cincinnati makes it. Memphis makes it. Whoever it is makes it over a 2-loss SEC team. And the way they did the schedule, that's absolutely possible. It's absolutely plausible, especially with them playing a conference championship game. If I had to bet you how this is going to go, I would say the SEC opens. The SEC has an undefeated team playing a 1-loss team in their title game. Mm-hmm. I would say it's Alabama and Georgia, whichever way you want to put that. The 1-loss team loses, 2-loss team there. So you've got 1 there, you got 1 out of the Big 12, you got 1 out of the ACC. And then you've got a berth going between, and this is contingent on one of these teams going undefeated. I mean, 1 loss completely eliminates you. But an undefeated AAC champion that had to beat Memphis and Cincinnati, or I don't remember who the third one is. UCF. You had to beat 2 of those. Mm-hmm. Because you're probably going to be one of the other. You're probably going to be the other one.
Right.
That team makes it over 2-loss Georgia. You tell me I'm wrong, and I'm just go ahead and tell you I'm not. It's a staunch hypothetical.
I want to tell you you're wrong, but I don't know that you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I tell you definitively I'm not wrong. This is a year where that disaster theory that the playoff committee's always been afraid of, here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. And if you get that decision of you got 3 undefeated teams, they're in. All right, those 3 are in. Or a 1-loss SEC champion, a 1-loss Clemson, or a 1-loss, say, Oklahoma. They're in. They win the big conferences, they're in. Then you're going to tell me an undefeated AAC that had 3 teams ranked in the initial poll. Mm-hmm. You're going to tell me that team goes undefeated and doesn't get in. Okay, see how that goes. See how that goes. Because half of your membership schools will lose their shit.
I don't care. I really don't care if they lose their shit. Cause
Patrick Holt has a perfect. What if App State runs the table?
If App State runs the table?
And App State will have beaten no one that's anywhere close to Cincinnati, UCF, or Memphis.
Mm-hmm. If App State runs the table, I'm not on board. I don't care.
I am. This 1 year, I'm in.
No.
Because if for nothing else, it will always give us that game to point to and go, see, we let them in and they got beat by 60. Mm-hmm. I'm totally fine with it. Now,
it has to, statement game, yeah.
It has to go in the right order. A 1-loss runner-up in any of those 3 conferences beats out an undefeated champion in any of the others.
Absolutely.
But if you don't have that and you put one of those teams in, we can forever say, hey, remember that year we let App State in, they got beat by 60? Mm-hmm. Or that year we let Cincinnati in, they got beat by 50? Mm-hmm. I can totally see that happening this year.
Okay, so there could be a positive to come out of this. I'm sorry. I know there are Appalachian State fans very near us, and they feel like, oh, we're something. In the grand scheme of things, you're still not something. I thought it was
good.
They're good. They're good, but I mean,
they're a real good mid-major team.
Right, but not on a national championship level. I mean, I continued to say the same thing. 7 years ago, or hell, it's been longer than that. When Boise State was, going undefeated and got their shot at Oklahoma. But think about, we've been doing this for so long. Kind of how
many Boise State, UCF, how many times have we done this? And how many times have they? And here's the thing: the reason that people say, "Oh, look, they played in these bowl games." Okay, so you had UCF, who was undefeated, playing Auburn, who didn't give a shit in the Peach Bowl, right, and they beat them like a kettle drum. Mm-hmm. Who cares? UCF, this is their Super Bowl. Auburn is just disappointed they didn't get in the playoff.
Yep.
So you can point to those forever, and people have pointed to those forever. I got news for you. If you let them into the playoff and they play a team like Georgia or Alabama, they will put up style points just to put up style points, just to make sure that this is never talked about again.
Yep.
And I do think this could be the year that you see that happen.
Damn, I think you've convinced me that now I want to see it happen, just so we can put this whole
I've always wanted to see it
rest.
I've always wanted to see it happen. Mm-hmm. Just because I know exactly how it would go.
Right.
Because App State recruits 3 stars and a few 4 stars, and you're going up against a team like Alabama that has 45 stars. Mm-hmm. Okay, Let's see how this goes. Give me that argument about how, they're a team that plays together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They're going to get killed together in this one.
Yeah. I mean, you like I said, you have convinced me. I think it can happen. I'm pulling for it doesn't happen.
Patrick Holt, if a mid-major wins it, then the whole system goes to hell, and because 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we have flying sharks and shit like that, and Sharknadoes, and then we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Which we might be anyway. I'm already burying money in mayonnaise jars.
That's
so,
that's like the biggest what if question I've heard in a long, long time. Yeah, what if aliens come down from the skies and take us over? Oh, did I just jinx it?
It's 2020, damn it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I apologize.
In any other year, I would say, but now we got an asteroid coming at us. We got all kinds of shit.
Wow, okay, that's news to me. I had not heard about the asteroid. I'm sure you're going to hear about it much more this afternoon in the Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene on ESPN Asheville. 3 p.m. we take the air live. We will have the discussion on the afternoon show today as well about Nick Saban's comments yesterday about how the return of college football is more about giving the kids an opportunity to play than it is about making money. Coming up today on ESPN Asheville at 3 p.m. This is the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yep.
We hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you this afternoon and right back here in the morning live at 9 a.m.